So thank you everybody for joining.
Yeah,
I'm Judy Utall. I'm the founder
Hi,
of
Kim.
Autism and Entertainment. It's so good to see you. And today's webinar is going to be featuring our friends from GameU, Alex Boydston and Miki Straus. And they're going to be talking about GameU and Minecraft and Roblox and you. So I hope you enjoy today's webinar. If this is your first time at an Autism and Entertainment event. Our mission is about increasing employment for individuals with autism in the entertainment industry. And we do that by having the industry be more embracing of the neurodivergent folk and about changing the brand for those on the spectrum, about making organizations aware of the resources that are out there to help them, and then also enabling you to manage your career path. In this webinar today is an example of how learning certain skill sets and capabilities can help you on your career. So just a little bit about us as well. We fund ourselves through our membership. So I want to encourage you, if you're not already a member, to become a member. And I'm excited to share our new talent book. The talent book was developed because as we work with organizations who are interested in hiring some people on the spectrum, they need to know who you are. And so we created the talent book as a way of allowing you to make your profiles available. And this is a feature available to Autism and Entertainment members. So, for example, Gustavo is a recent graduate of Cal Arts, and he's been able to put his profile up. He could put a link to his websites, his YouTube, his mission, and all his different experiences. And then if somebody wants to, if Mike Young says, "Oh, this guy is impressive, I would love to bring him on," then all he needs to do is hit connect, and he'll be sending an email to Gustavo, and they can go from there. Now I'd like to introduce Alex Boydston, who's going to kick us off from GameU. Hi, Alex.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Miki, if you would care to share your screen, we can get this presentation going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, awesome.
Um, all right, can we see that okay?
Yes, yeah, perfect. Well, first off, my name is Alex Boydston. I'm the marketing manager here at GameU. And before we dive into the webinar that we have today and I hand it over to our instructor, I wanted to take a moment to really tell you about who GameU is and what it is that we're all about. If you could go to the next slide. Perfect. So, first place to start would be the inception of GameU. The inception of GameU started from an idea. After nearly 20 years in the industry, our founder, Mike K. Wass, had a question. He was like, what if I could teach kids to make games just like I do? What was the answer? It was an astounding yes. And just like that, GameU was born. With curriculums crafted and taught by professional game developers, GameU courses harness that love of gaming, tailoring it to each student's unique learning needs, turning video game consumers into video game creators, being able to play the games, create the games that they love to play. With over 13 years experience and over 10,000 students taught, we are proud to say that GameU is the premium provider of online courses that teach video game creation, with the social mission to facilitate inclusivity in video game design. We do this by empowering individuals of all abilities, including those with special needs, to learn the skills needed to succeed in the video game industry. If you go to that next slide. All right. So ultimately the biggest point of difference that we offer is that direct link to the industry. So what does that really mean? Well, our instructors are professionals in their field. We have over 100 working game developers on staff, like Miki over here, who have worked on a wide variety of projects, including mobile games, VR games. They've worked on projects where they're a part of a large team of over 100 people to projects that are just them. If you see on that top right of the screen, you can see some logos of places that our teachers and instructors have worked at. LucasArts, Microsoft, Activision, Riot Games, BioWare, and EA, just to name a few. And because they know what it takes, they also know what skills matter inside the industry. So we teach the tools and concepts that the industry demands. But that's not just game design and coding. There's a lot that goes into a video game. That includes sound design, animation, the writing process, all of that. We teach that here at GameU. Now, another very important part and key part of our program is our community. Can you go to that next slide? Perfect. So, we offer a place for students to come and feel not only supported, but like they have a place to be with like-minded individuals. We host multiple student events weekly, like the three examples that you kind of see above. Game nights are where students get together and play their favorite games like Minecraft, Roblox. We're going to get into some of that today, right? Mario Kart, and our most recent addition is Dungeons and Dragons, and that's been just huge. We also do project spotlights. So something that we call collabs, we host daily, and it's a space where students can get together with other students and share their projects to give and receive some constructive feedback. There are even times where we have students, that kind of meet in these different scenarios and you end up working on projects together. Just like kind of what we're going to dive into with workshops, we offer over 30 different types of workshops at GameU. Stuff that shows you how to make any sort of video game, from platformers to sprite animations, and even like how to draw your own Pokemon or how to write a short story. All right, next slide. One of the things I want to leave off with is a student testimonial. One of our students, Norman, joined GameU with no prior experience in game design. He joined simply as a fan of games and someone interested in making their own video game. Now, I'm happy to say that Norman has multiple projects under his belt, including his own Super Mario World, which you can actually see some, footage of up on the screen right here. All right, and then hop on over to that next slide. And as we love to say at GameU, it's game on. I'm going to hand this on over to our GameU professional instructor, Miki, to take over the rest of the presentation. I'll be in the chat if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Cool. Hey, I'm Miki. I'm one of the teachers at GameU. I primarily teach Roblox classes here. So, if we go over some Roblox stuff today, and you're interested, can come to GameU and maybe take one of my classes there. But what I want to talk about today is why playing games is important. And this is like, even if you're not looking to get into the games industry specifically, if you've played games like Minecraft or Roblox, they're actually exercising skills that you'll need in like any career field. So this is not really a workshop about how do I get into the game career field. It's how do I get into any career field when the main passion you've been practicing is playing or making games. I think this is important to talk about because maybe you already know, but there is a stigma around playing games. Maybe people around you think it's not serious or it's like a waste of time. So I want to help you see the skills that you've been building by playing these games. And hopefully when you can put a name to these skills, you can more intentionally use them in real life and also list them on your resume. Actually, and Judy went over that website y'all have where you can like list your technical skills, so that would be perfect for that too. Um, I also want to quickly assure you that I do mean playing these games. Like if you haven't touched Roblox Studio yet, if you haven't made any clothes or props for your Roblox avatar, if you haven't like made any Minecraft mods yet, that's totally okay. You've still practiced skills by just playing the games. So I want to go over those skills first. So again, this is just from playing games. And actually, as soon as I go to the slide, you might see some skills listed on here that you're kind of like, oh, duh. But some of these skills are like they're hard for people, right? But if you play Roblox or Minecraft, I can assume that you're someone that is so comfortable and practice with most of these listed skills. Um, Computer literacy. This first one here, that is your ability to use technology and your keyboard and your mouse efficiently and safely. So can you open and close programs? Can you check your email and get your password and info? Can you send a message? Can you save images and log into your accounts? Again, these are all things that you might take for granted as being easy if you play computer games, but these are hard for a lot of people. I'm often having to help the parents of my students do these things for them, and the students have no issue with them because they do them like every day in these games. We got navigating 3D space. So this is your ability to understand that despite your computer screen being like a flat surface, right? You understand there's a 3D world behind it. So this is vital for if you're moving into wanting to do 3D modeling, 3D art, making props, making video game worlds. Um, One of my favorite examples of this is I had a student who was completely new to Roblox Studio, had never made a video game before, but she was like amazing at modeling things inside of Roblox Studio. And I was like, where is this coming from? Like, you haven't made this before. And I learned that she had played a ton of Bloxburg. If you haven't played that before, that's like building houses in Roblox, basically. And she built up all these 3D modeling skills just by playing Bloxburg in Roblox. Whereas on the other hand, I've had a lot of adult students that just cannot understand that there's a 3D world behind there. And I think they would have a lot easier of a time understanding that had they played games like Roblox or Minecraft. We also got hand-eye coordination. So this is the fact that when you are playing games, you are using your hand to control a really teeny tiny mouse cursor on screen. And you have to do it delicately. You have to do it with control to navigate these little menus to actually go around your computer screen and use this little cursor. Video games, computer games, they often test that skill by making you like shoot at things, right? You have the little crosshair or by timing how fast you can click on things, by timing how fast you can click on different targets on the screen. So computer games quite literally test and improve your hand-eye coordination with the cursor here. Um, these bottom ones, they're a little more like abstract, right? So we have teamwork and collaboration. So this is like, can you work with other people? Can you collaborate and communicate with other people? This is a little more relevant in like multiplayer Roblox games. So I'm thinking, for example, if anyone's played Dandy's World, or something like Forsaken, where you have to work together with strangers on your team to complete a goal. Sometimes in Roblox, you can't even actually like chat with them literally. You have to just like communicate with emojis and assign people different roles so everyone can win this game together. Next up, we got research. So by this, I mean, like, can you like confidently open up Google and type in a question to Google to answer questions for yourself? So let's say you're playing Minecraft and you forgot a recipe. You forgot how to make the Ender portal, and we gotta like look that up on Google and open up different forums and remember and see how to make this recipe. Let's say you're really into Roblox. A lot of Roblox games have these huge cast of characters. Maybe you want to know more about their lore, their backstories. Can you go onto Google and look these things up about these characters, find out more about the story and the game world that you really like? Finally, we got setting and achieving goals. Um, to be fair, a lot of video games make this very easy because they might have checklists where it's like, okay, collect 5 flowers, right? Some games are a little more vague, especially something like Minecraft, where they don't actually tell you what you need to do next. But when you play a game like Minecraft, you might be making goals for yourself. You're like, okay, I want to make a base before nighttime happens. What does that mean? Do you have to now search for a safe space for your base? Do you have to figure out how many materials you need to gather for that base? Do you want to make a bed for your base? Right? You have all these questions and next steps to achieve this larger goal. You have a larger goal in mind and you're breaking it down into these little tasks. So again, if I know you play a lot of these games, I feel confident that you're going to be pretty comfortable in many of these skills already. Um, but I think the most like important thing that playing games actually does for people is it makes them have this question of, can I make this too? Can I make a game like this? Or can I make mods for this game? Can I do something to improve how this game works for me and add to it and contribute to it in some way? Um, it's really hard, right, to have that curiosity or desire to learn how to make stuff for the game you love if you haven't even like played the game yet, right? So you got to play the game first to love it, and then you start wondering, can I make this game better for myself, and can I put my own ideas into it and mod it and change it, right? The reason we're talking about Roblox and Minecraft today specifically is because they are perfect for learning how to make mods, custom content, games, right? And some of you might already be doing that. And if you're not, it's totally okay. I hope what I talk about next will kind of inspire you to explore that. It's really fun. And then also, yeah, career-wise, like having concrete examples of your skills is really beneficial. I know I just went over all those skills that you build from playing the game. Um, so now I want to go over skills that you can build by like building things for that game. I'm gonna go over both Minecraft and Roblox one at a time and kind of introduce y'all to ways you could put your own stuff into that game if you're not already familiar. And then we'll kind of go over the skills again that you've practiced or will practice by exploring these things. So the first thing I want to talk about is Minecraft mods. Mods is short for modifications. So in other words, these are things that change your game in some way. There's kind of two really main Minecraft mods. There's ones that change how your game runs. So this is code that someone wrote, like some stranger, not someone on the Minecraft team, just some player like you all, code that someone wrote to add new mechanics in, or make the game run better or smoother. So maybe this is a mod that adds like a mini map to your screen, or gives you directions to a specific biome type. Maybe it adds a new biome type into the game. Um, oh, did that just, there we go. Maybe it adds a new biome type to the game, right? Maybe it actually makes your game run faster and smoother, optimizes it in some way. Um, the other kind of main type of Minecraft mod is that it changes how your game looks. So these are things where like the game runs the same, but it might have different textures or art. So I'm gonna go over some of those examples. This was one I found that I thought was really interesting. It's like someone made this mod where you can search up different biomes in your Minecraft world, and then it'll give you directions to that biome. And they had to make this whole menu screen for it so you can navigate it easily, and a search bar so you can search for these biomes. Um, these are like texture examples. So if you play Minecraft and maybe you want your cakes to look more cute or different flavors, someone made art, someone made this pixel art to replace the regular cake art in Minecraft. This one down here, it looks like they replaced some of the like flooring or interiors for Minecraft blocks, so you can make your houses look a little different, a little more interesting. Um, and then there's some games that like, or some really big mods that add both like mechanics and textures to your Minecraft game. They almost are making it into a new game. I've seen a lot of like Five Nights at Freddy's type mods where it basically makes Minecraft into a fully different game. Those mods are probably made by like a larger team. Maybe there's multiple people working on them because there's a lot of stuff to add in for that. Um, Also, if you haven't made any mods or textures yet, if you play with Minecraft mods, you're actually still practicing a much deeper level of computer literacy and research than we talked about earlier. That's because, Minecraft doesn't teach you how to mod the game. You really have to look that up for yourself and learn it and navigate your computer in a way that is not very like typical or conventional. So even just playing with Minecraft mods actually is practicing a lot too. Next up we got Roblox. So I'm switching gears to Roblox now. Um, I want to talk about Roblox UGC first. UGC stands for User Generated Content. Um, so that is basically all of the clothes, the hair, faces, accessories that you might see on the Roblox store to dress your avatar up with, right? But it could also be any of the 3D models or music for games in Roblox, or games that you make in Roblox Studio. So this is all the stuff you might see in the toolbox. For example, if you play with Roblox Studio, you might know that. Um, so that also means UGC could be a mix of 3D art, 2D art, um, music, sound design, and here on my screen here, like I have these music, the sound effects that you might be able to use in your game, all this kind of clothes for your Roblox character, your avatar, the 2D drawn faces to put on your Roblox face, the hairstyles. I brought up Dandy's World again because I think the models are so cute, right? Someone actually modeled and created all these character designs to put inside of Roblox. Now I have this other little section here for outside programs. That's because UGC, user-generated content, is not made inside of Roblox Studio. This is a little confusing. Roblox Studio is a big program where you compile and make the game within, but all of this outside art is having to be made in outside programs. What that does mean though is if you make UGC, now you're learning all these other like big art programs, right? So I listed a bunch of logos here of art programs you might be using. It's a mix of 2D art programs, 3D art programs, sound programs that you might be using if you're making custom content for Roblox. All right, so speaking of Roblox Studio, right? This is how all the games in Roblox are made. Like literally all the games. So anything from like Dress to Impress to Forsaken to Strongest Battlegrounds, like everything is made in here. It's really wild. Um, this is what it looks like inside. And it is a separate program from Roblox. If you want to make games in Roblox Studio, you have to download a separate thing. And it looks like this inside. And again, all of these models are probably made in a separate program, but then they're brought into Roblox Studio to like set up and be programmed in here. Um, if you've made things in Roblox Studio before, experimented with it, you probably already know it's a very big program, right? And then again, you have to use all these other outside programs for the art. So most very big Roblox games, they're made by a small team collaborating together, maybe like 5 to 10 people. Might even be smaller, and then they might hire like contract developers or contract artists for like temporary jobs as they might need. So these bigger games, those are actually going to be often made by bigger studios, not just like one person. Um, okay. So based on like talking about all that, you might already be able to guess some of these skills you're practicing by making this custom stuff, but I want to go over these anyways. So we got 2D art, right? So if you're making Minecraft textures, Roblox faces, and if you're doing 2D art, you're also probably practicing these other programs, Photoshop and Krita, maybe other 2D art programs. 3D art, right? So if you're modeling things, you're probably also learning Blender. We got programming. So this is if you're making games in Roblox Studio or Minecraft mods. Roblox Studio uses a language called Lua. Minecraft is often written in Java, those mods. You're also learning logic in programming, so that can be translated to like a lot of other languages. We also got animation. So do your Roblox characters have custom moves and walk cycles? UI, UX, this stands for user interface and user experience. That's a really fancy way of basically saying menus. So back to that biome example I showed earlier, someone had to design a way for users to type in a search bar and look up a biome they want and then show the information of where that biome is. This is, can you design something clear for people to use and interact with, menu systems, inventory systems, things like that. Project management, really this is like in all your projects and is kind of similar to the setting and achieving goals. Can you break down tasks for yourself into smaller bite-sized pieces? Can you get those tasks done in a timeline that you like, that you feel good about? And finally, probably the most obvious one is game design, right? So if you're making games, you are learning about game design. We're learning about how we can make interesting level layouts, ways for people to interact in your world. Okay, so I know we were talking about careers. So I actually want to go back to all these skills now and like talk about career fields, not just within game design, but any career field these skills might be useful in. So something like 2D art, right? In game design, first thoughts might be things like concept art, character designs, the textures, things like that. But outside of game design, we can also think about illustrations, right? We're thinking about uh, and not just like book illustrations, but maybe like the illustrations you see on blog posts or when you open up a magazine and there's illustrations to demonstrate something in that magazine or the recipe. thinking about packaging design. So when you go to the grocery store and you see a soda box that looks really pretty, that's packaging design, it's illustration and 2D art. Logo design, right? So how can we make a nice little symbol to represent something? Um, I literally like I brought these scissors out earlier because they're just like these cute little scissors you might see in my camera, with a little floral design on them, right? But someone had to design that little floral pattern and make sure that pattern looks smooth and seamless and repeated and cute for this little product, right? 3D art. So in video games, we're thinking about asset modeling. So that's making the little props and the buildings for the video game. But this can also be expanded to CGI in movies and TV shows. It can also be expanded to what's called CAD, which is computer aided design. So this is also used in architecture when you're modeling a house, when you're modeling a design. It's used for product design when you're modeling some kind of new product, you want to see a prototype of it before you make the physical thing. And it's also for mechanical engineering. So if we're making machinery, if we're making parts for mechanics, right? Um, and then we got programming and logic. So game design example would be the game development, making the actual code and the instructions for how the game runs. But this is also in software design. So a lot of my programming friends actually they have jobs in software design. They're building software for other people, other companies, other computers to use. This is also cybersecurity. So like making sure that you're designing something that is safe for people to use, protecting passwords, protecting information. Um, and we also got back to engineering, thinking about, mechanical engineering, programming and logic goes really hand in hand with this. One of the other instructors here had a great example of like let's say we're in Roblox, we're programming a door that in the video game opens up when your character is near the door, like with a motion sensor. That can be so directly translated to real life, like when you go to a grocery store and you see those motion detecting doors, right? So with mechanical engineering, you are working with logic, you're working with sensors, you're making things work in the world together. Very similar to game design, actually. Um, Animation, right? A lot of this is within games and movies and shows. We're thinking about making cartoons move, but it can also be the rigging of those characters. So actually like building these digital puppets so they can move easier. It's also for effects, right? So maybe not animating characters, but you're animating like explosions or fire or sparkles, things like that. Um, Finally, also motion graphics. So motion graphics is like moving graphic design. If you've watched like, commercials or on YouTube, even when you're watching like information being displayed, and maybe the bar graph moves or animates in some way to make it look a little more interesting, that's motion graphics. UI, UX, that's again going back to the menus. So that's menus for games. It's menus also for web design, right? Websites need to look nice and they also have to look easy to navigate so people understand where to go on that website and what to click on. This also really falls into graphic design. So that's how we can display information clearly and like nicely aesthetically to people. Project management, this is I mean to be fair, that's important for like any career field. It's important to know how to break down your own tasks into smaller tasks, how long it might take you to do these tasks, and what that means for you. So that's kind of a vague one. That's kind of all important for everything. Um, Now game design, this is great for game design jobs, of course, but it also can expand to a lot of other things outside of video games. When you're doing game design, you are basically designing interactive experiences for people, right? So that does not actually have to just be video games. Um, Another kind of example of this would be like if you're designing escape rooms, right? Or you're being an escape room host. I have a lot of friends that are in that kind of area. I also have a lot of friends in the game design area that moved to theater. There's something, I guess, about performance and doing theater design or theater management that actually goes hand in hand. And in my case, I'm a teacher, right? I did game design and now I'm a teacher. I enjoy creating experiences for other people, and that and sometimes is class. Um, so yeah, all these skills, again, these are just things you would learn from making games, making mods, and these can be spun to look really good in a resume. Um, which I have these examples here, and let's kind of go over them. So let's say you're someone who's made a lot of UGC, a lot of Roblox clothing. You could set up your resume to really list those skills out. Um, you have concepted and designed digital clothing using templates, right? You have to make sure that clothes fit the Roblox character. You've maybe kept up with current fashion trends. Maybe you're also selling them on the Roblox store, so now you're keeping up with a digital market. Maybe you're also communicating with people, taking like clothing commissions, and then you can list your digital art skills here too. Um, this is also funny. I did not know that Judy was going to show you that you had this website where you can literally list your skills and your technical programs and stuff, but that is literally perfect for that. Um, Here's another thing, right? Let's say you're someone who's designed Minecraft texture packs. So that's like the example of those little cakes that make your cakes in Minecraft look different. Um, Here's a way you could spin that on a resume. You've designed a series of illustrations for use on 3 objects. That would be great for product design. You're designing them within a consistent style to match the Minecraft style. And maybe you're also sharing them online for other people to use. Finally, down here, we have someone who's created Roblox Studio games. This person might list that on their resume like this. So you've concepted, prototyped, and programmed a small game. You are testing frequently. You're taking other people's feedback into your account. You're modeling all your 3D assets in the program. And then you list all those programs that you might use. Um, I think that this is kind of important and really hard for everyone, like whether you're on the spectrum or not, everyone struggles with this because it's hard to promote yourself. It's hard to also recognize your own skills because a lot of these things might just seem really easy and really fun for you where you're like, that's not a skill, it's easy, right? Um, but again, these are things that are hard for a lot of people. And so you should feel confident in it. You should like be able to be proud of these skills, and point out all the skills that it took for you to get to that point of this feeling so easy and so fun. Again, this is hard for a lot of people. Um, all right. So, talked about a lot of stuff. I do want to try making some stuff in Roblox Studio so we can just kind of dip our toes into that a little bit and see what that might look like. Um, Again, want to point out that Roblox Studio is a separate program from Roblox. So if you've only played Roblox, you might only have this like blue logo on your computer. But if you want to make games, you got to get this other program in here called Roblox Studio. Um, so let me open up Roblox Studio. I'll share my screen again. Um, all right. Think, can we see that okay? Roblox Studio. Okay, I see some nodding and thumbs up. Yay. So if you have Roblox Studio, it's gonna look like this. And I'm literally just gonna open up the most basic template in here. There's a lot of really fun ones in here, but we're gonna do a really basic one to start with. Just the base plate here. Okay, so what I want to show all of you today is a little bit of how to use Roblox Studio, kind of how to navigate this a little bit. And what I want to make is kind of inspired by a lot of survival games I see. I feel like that's a pretty popular genre on Roblox. We're gonna make a little obstacle course, and we're going to make a monster in there that only appears in the nighttime. I guess kind of like Minecraft, right? When it becomes daytime, we'll have the monster go away. Um, and I'll show you how to do all that. So here is our big empty game world, um, with nothing in it except for our little spawn location. So if I press play all the way up here, you will see that there I come in on that spawn location. I can already run around and jump. So it has all those built in for you. But yeah, there's nothing in here yet. So let's make that a little more interesting for me. I'm going to start placing some parts down, clicking that little part button up here. And that plops a little tiny brick over there. I'm going to make that bigger. I'm basically going to make some platforms for me to run around and get chased by a monster in. It's a little more interesting. Um, so got a wall here. I'm going to just duplicate that by doing Control D, and we'll rotate this a little bit, make it a little more interesting. Just kind of placing things down. It's kind of like playing blocks. Um, and just kind of, I don't know, I feel like this part's always really peaceful, just building things in here. If you have not used Roblox Studio before, I would suggest that your first project be an obby or a platformer. So you can just kind of get used to placing these parts down and making something interesting. So I'm gonna maybe make this part something to jump over. You can also change color and stuff up here, make these a little more interesting to look at. Okay, so I've got some basic walls in here. Again, they're not super interesting yet. If you wanted to make really interesting models and houses and buildings for your game, you would have to build them again in another program like Blender. I don't have time to show you another program today, so we're just going to be doing it in Roblox Studio with these like very basic block parts in here. All right, so we got our little parts in here for us to jump around on. And now I want to show you how we can do that thing where we actually change it from day to night. I think that's kind of interesting. Um, Over here in the Explorer window, you will see all the stuff in your game currently. We have 3 parts. We have our spawn location. We also have this thing called lighting in here. Now, if I scroll down in all these complicated settings for lighting, you will see that there is a setting in here called clock time. Now, check out what happens if I mess with this. We can set the time of day. If I mess with it in the menu like this, it's just going to permanently be that time of day. So I can show you what that looks like if I press play. Um, so if I leave it like this is just going to be like a game that takes place at night forever. But if I want to actually make the time change from night to day and back to night and day, like Minecraft, we actually have to code that a little bit. So let me press stop here, and we will do a little bit of code together. Actually grab my example. Okay, so if I want to do code to make that day change happen, and I'm gonna make a script in here. So we'll just plop in a script like that, and it gives a cute little hello. All right. Now, for the sake of time and for this workshop, I'm going to go through the code a little more quickly than I might in a regular GameU class, right? Because I want to be able to show you as much as possible. So if this feels a little confusing to you, please don't worry. That is not how quickly a regular GameU class would run. Um, I'm going to write a couple lines in here that is going to help this script understand um, that we want to change the lighting in some way. So this is like a little confusing to read right now, right? Again, that's fine. This is totally new to you. Maybe you've already done this. But this is going to help the script understand we want to mess with this lighting. So that's the lighting. The run service tells the script we want something to happen like constantly in the game. We want the lighting to be changing constantly. If I write something like this, run service.heartbeat, and then I'm going to write some stuff that looks a little confusing. Whatever I write in this little space here with this word heartbeat here, that means it's going to run constantly for the whole game over and over. What I want to have happen constantly is basically the code slowly changing that slider for me. So do you remember that clock time slider I showed y'all earlier? I'll show it again. This clock time slider, when I slide that slowly and I change that number slowly, that's what creates that effect of the day to night changing. So we want the script to basically be moving that slider for us. So here's what that line is going to look like. We take the lighting, we take the clock time and I'm going to add to it. That's what that looks like. A tiny-ish number. So over time, it's going to always add to clock time and just kind of slowly move that slider for us forever for the whole game. This number, by the way, I don't know if that's going to be too big or too small. We might have to test that later. But last thing I'm going to do before we test it is just tell this code to wait a little bit. Otherwise, it'll run really fast and maybe crash your game, which we don't want. So let's see what that looks like. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have the day to night changing now. It is moving really fast, to be fair. Like, this might be kind of a stressful game if it's moving this quickly. So at this point, maybe I'm like, I want to change some of those numbers. Back when I said I'm not sure if this number is going to be too big or too small yet, we have to test it. At this point, now I'm like, because it's moving too fast, I think we're adding too much to the clock time. So I'm going to make that smaller. Um, I don't know. We'll make that a 1 instead of a 5. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. You can see the moon moving up there. It is slower now. It's still pretty fast, maybe depending on what kind of game you're making. So I might want to keep messing with that number. Um, but I think for the sake of this right now, this is fine. We'll kind of leave it like this. Oh, and there's all my blocks I placed earlier. Okay, so we now have this changing day-night cycle. We have some blocks to run around in. Now I want to add in that monster I was talking about. So to make a monster in Roblox, if you want to make a very custom monster, again, you would maybe want to make that in something like Blender, some kind of 3D program where you can design your own kind of unique monster. That's how games like Forsaken, Dandy's World, right? Those are how they're making these very unique character designs. Um, for the workshop, for testing things out, we're going to use the toolbox. Toolbox lives over here, and this is full of UGC, user-generated content, that other people have made and shared for just anyone to use. Um, so it's actually really great because we can just grab stuff from it. I'm gonna like just search for yeah, like a zombie. Um, and we will plop a zombie in here. When this window comes up, it means that this model has scripts on it. Someone wrote some instructions for the zombie. I want to quickly test out the zombie and see what it does already. It might actually already be chasing me. Yeah, there it goes. Okay. So monster already chases me. That's great. Um, I mean, this is already scary, right? Like we have this thing chasing us. But let's do that thing where we actually have the zombie only appearing at nighttime, similar to a lot of survival horror games or Minecraft, right? And we can kind of use that day-night script again. So we have the zombie, it chases us. I'm gonna make another script for that. Make another script. Uh I have 2 scripts in here. I'm just going to really quickly rename that first script to day night so I remember what that's about. Now I'll go back to my new script. This script is going to be some instructions to make that zombie disappear when it becomes daytime. Again, I'm going to go through this a little bit quickly, much faster than I would in a normal GameU class, but I'm going to make a couple variables at the top to help the script keep track of what I'm talking about. We're grabbing lighting again, since it has to understand what the time is, and the time is being stored in lighting. We're going to grab the zombie. We want to tell the script where the zombie is and what the zombie is, since we have to tell the zombie to appear and disappear. Okay. I'm going to write something called while true do. There we go. Kind of similar to that heartbeat thing in the other script, whatever I write in here is just going to be kind of constantly happening throughout the game. What I want to be checking for constantly is what time it is in the game. Here's what that is going to look like. We're going to say if the lighting clock time. So if the time is greater than 6 and yeah, less than 18, oh gosh, um, then we will do something. The reason I picked 6 and 18, by the way, going back to the little lighting slider, is when we slide this, you'll see that when we are over the number 6, it's daytime. And then if we're less than 18, it's still daytime. So I'm just checking for the daytime numbers. That's between 6 to 18. All right, back in my script. If we are between 6 to 18, we want that monster to go away, right? To hide something in Roblox, we're just going to um put the zombie in a different folder so that it's not living in our game. I'm gonna put it in a folder called replicated storage. That just sends it like backstage, basically. If you think of everything in your game as on stage, this line sends it behind the scenes, backstage. We're not gonna see it anymore. We can test that out real quick. So, you know, I might have had to put a weight in there. Hopefully I didn't just crash that. Yeah, let's stop that real quick. And I'm gonna put a real quick weight. Um, there we go. All right, let's see that again. Okay, so it's daytime now, so we should not see that zombie anywhere. It looks like, yeah, that zombie is gone. So that's good. As it becomes nighttime, the zombie is still gone. So I actually have to write another piece of code that says when it becomes nighttime again, that zombie comes back. I'm gonna hit stop. I'm gonna go back into my code. So we're gonna say, again, if we are in daytime, the zombie is hiding, it's behind the scenes. Otherwise, if we're at nighttime, we are going to put the zombie back on screen, back in the workspace. So let's see if that looks okay. Okay, it's daytime, no zombie, we're safe. See nighttime starting to come out, and our zombie, oh my gosh, there it is. Okay, so now the zombie is chasing me. And I just have to survive until it becomes daytime again. So we'll see. Can we live? Oh my gosh. It's getting even darker now. Oh, and daytime? Oh, okay. Now, as soon as it became daytime, that zombie just disappeared again, so I'm safe. And now, you know, this really opens up a lot of level design questions. Like, do we want a shop in here? Maybe when it's daytime, players have time to build their base and buy survival items. They can upgrade their weapons, they can upgrade their base, they can upgrade their player. How do we design what that shop menu looks like? Um, how do we design what the weapons and props and world in here look like, right? Like I just have these very basic blocks in here, but you know, what if that zombie was chasing us through a forest or through a town or an amusement park or something, right? We can really think about the world that this horror game is happening in. Um, so yeah, this I think has a lot of different questions and it goes over all of those other skills we kind of talked about earlier. How can we make this game a little more interesting? Can I hurt the zombie back in any way, right? I can't right now. I
Hey,
just have to survive.
Miki,
Yeah.
it's we have about 7 minutes left,
Yeah.
and people may have some questions. So
Yeah,
this might be a
absolutely.
great time to see if anybody has any questions for you.
Yeah, actually perfect timing because that is all I have to show you on my workshop. So, yeah, we can definitely switch over to questions.
Yeah,
Okay.
Miki, so Adam did ask a question that is a pretty good
Yeah.
one. Is there a way to make the zombie disappear in a different way, like to fade away or go into the ground and it comes back
Oh
out
my
when night
gosh.
comes again?
Yes, absolutely. That is a really, really fun question. Um, that is not something I can show like really quickly because to make, for example, the zombie fading into the ground, we might want to do an animation for that. I can show you like what the animation window might look like. We can, there we go. When we animate in, oops, in Roblox, you can like move these little pieces around and it saves that movement down here. Animating would be like a whole class in and of itself. But yeah, you could absolutely do some animation that says, um, before we take the zombie off stage, we would just tell it to lower down in the ground, um, like slowly like this. And we would basically tell it to play this animation before it disappears. Yeah, I'm showing this a little wonky, but that is a fantastic question. Same with fading it out. You could take the zombie's transparency setting and just slowly make it more transparent before we take it off screen. Um, yeah, I hope that answers that question. Yeah, I know I went through that kind of quickly for the sake of making sure I can answer some other questions. But to
Yeah,
answer that question,
there's
yeah.
someone with their hand up.
Yeah, Devin, what's up?
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Have you have you like worked on any Roblox or Minecraft and stuff?
So no, I haven't. Like I actually started doing Roblox stuff when I first started teaching at a different school prior to GameU, and learned a lot of Roblox through that. Um and then I've not actually made my own Roblox stuff yet, but the more I learn,
Well,
I'm like, I
well,
want
what
to, yeah.
Roblox games do you usually play?
Do I usually play?
Or
Right
at least
now?
what's your favorite Roblox game?
Yeah, my students have really gotten me into Dandy's World. I think the world and the characters are just awesome.
I love Dandy's World.
Nice, yeah. Any other questions? I don't know if I see any other hands up yet. Sevag, am I saying that okay?
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
um yeah, is there you mentioned Blender. How do you create the character? I mean, do you export the character or save it as a Surf file? And then how do you bring it into the game?
really, really great question too. So Blender, you're absolutely right. You would create the character in Blender and then export it as a specific file. When that is exported as a file living on your computer, you'd go back into Roblox and then import that file into it. Um,
What kind of file is it?
yeah. What's up?
What kind of file is it?
Uh, it depends. Let me see. What
And did
Roblox
you have
model?
experience with Unity?
Unity, yeah, that's actually typically what I use outside of Roblox, outside of GameU. Um, Off the top of my head, I forget what Roblox 3D files it wants. It might just be an OBJ. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I can look that up actually really quick.
Okay,
Yeah,
thanks. Thank you.
of course. Yeah, these are great questions. Um, yeah, it looks like an OBJ or an FBX would work. It might just be dependent on what you're doing with that 3D model.
So I'd like to ask the group a question. Raise your hand if you are interested in working in game design. That's a, let's see, who do we have out there? You have any questions for them, Alex, in terms of what games they like or what do they want to do in terms of game design?
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys are looking at getting into game design, what kind of games would you like to make?
Anybody want to answer that?
Feel free to put it in the chat, or you can hop off the mic and share. We'd love to hear.
Savag, did you want to share?
Share what? Oh yeah,
What
I
kind of
think
games you'd like to design?
well, I created a game before and I guess it was like a demonstration. So I guess like any game that is interactive that teaches something to somebody or demonstrates something for now. I mean, of course, any other game will be also interesting. Uh,
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, we can definitely help teach that. We actually have a few instructors here who have worked on games that are used at hospitals to help educate people on certain things.
Right.
Those are my first internships was working on medical educational games.
So
Yeah,
Connor,
awesome.
Yeah.
so Connor has his hand up.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. So Yeah, I would be interested in making a game one day. I know one issue with me is that, especially for our first project and for the resources here, I'm probably someone who gets this ambition, oh, who put, whose ambition definitely goes over like resources, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Completely
Uh,
understand.
yeah, yeah. Of course, if I could, I would love to make like a story-based game, probably like one similar to near Automata, more in terms of like the thematics, kind of like say like sorrowful thematics of it. But I also
Yeah.
need to recognize that I would also love to make myself like a fighting game, but maybe like one that does one that can actually work as like an introduction to the genre where it's like I I know a lot of them exist these days, but like one that can actually work as a teaching tool for people to get into it. Good work.
Yeah. That would be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, I'll let someone else
Yeah.
go.
Is that IKEA? IKEA, your hands up. Did you want to say something?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
So, have you guys ever heard of the gaming marathon called Extra Life?
I don't know that one actually.
Yeah, I don't think I do either.
I have
Extra
Extra Life,
life.
actually.
Extra Life is a 24-hour game marathon that and whoever raises money for that. So most people use that to play video games for 24 hours for and raise money for Children's Miracle Network,
Oh, that's
That
really
is
which
neat.
helps
awesome.
different children's hospitals throughout the country. And I participated in one at Cal State Bakersfield, and it was fun. I mean, and then they have the family. They pick a family that has a child or children who are suffering from an illness or burns and stuff like that,
Mhm.
who got treated at the hospital in my town called Bakersfield Memorial Hospital. They have a children's section, and yeah, they have that, and they have like gaming machines there. Raise enough money, to put gaming machines in their room so they can have something to distract them from the white walls and their fear of whatever surgery they're gonna have and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I really I really hope you guys can get more familiar with it one day because it's really good. It's for a good cause and it's really fun. Got me a lot of friends and stuff like that there. So hope you
That's
guys try it one
awesome.
day.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that with us. We'll definitely look into it. That sounds so cool.
Yep. Thank
I
you.
think we have time for one more question from Talia. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for coming. Thanks, Alex and Mika for a wonderful webinar. And we will be sending you information. If you indicated that you wanted to talk to GameU, they will be contacting you. And until next time, you want to say goodbye, Alex and
Yes,
Miki?
thank you all so much. Again, if you said that you would like us to reach out to you, we will be reaching out to you. But if you also have any more questions, feel free to hop onto our website, game-u.com, and reach out to us through there. But thank you all so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you
No
guys so much. This was
problem.
great.
Thank you guys.
Thank
Of
That
you.
was
course.
great.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you
everybody.
guys.
Thank
Thanks.
you.